Hello, everyone. We're going to talk about Deque University and the accessibility training resource that we have here at NCCC. So I'm just going to go through briefly, show everyone what it is, some of the recommendations for each role, because everybody has different roles and different services we provide here at the college, and what trainings may be right for you. There's tons and tons of trainings in there. You really might only need to look at 2, 3, or depending on your role, if you're more highly technical, there's, maybe 6 or 8 that we recommend, but you can stop in as needed. There's no, deadline or anything like that. Part of Deque University and why SUNY has, allowed all of the campuses to have access to that. I'm going to jump ahead, is that it's part of the EIT initiative. So we have an initiative on campus to improve our electronic and information technology on campus. Big focuses for that are what software programs we purchase, what's on the website, what's in the digital content that's shared in courses, and just making sure that whether we have students or community members visiting the website or we're taking courses here at NCCC, that everybody has equal access to the information that we're providing and able to utilize the different software programs we have on campus is really the main, push for that. So part of what Deque University is going to do, in addition to the great trainings from online learning, is give you information on how you can convert documents and how to make the website accessible, or how to make different features and documents you produce and provide to students, have them be accessible. So these different trainings are going to be, they're online, they're self-paced. A lot of them, it's just a lot of, some reading. There's not a ton of videos. It's going to be a little different format than those HR trainings that you're used to. There is at the end a little quiz that you can go through and complete. But it is very self-paced. I've seen some of them say they might be a half hour, but I've been able to go through it a little bit quicker. So it really just depends on possibly your background knowledge of whatever that content area is, or just your speed of reading too. So you can always stop in, read a couple pages, some other work comes up, and a week from now continue on with that course. It keeps track of your pace, and I'll show you what it looks like. But again, they're self-paced. There's easy beginner levels all the way through advanced. So depending on what your flavor is with what your background knowledge is with accessibility, there's something for all of you. Some of the main topics include disability etiquette as well. So for everyone, that's not a bad one to have. We all interact with students, and sometimes you may be in a situation and you're not sure what terminology to use, for instance, and you don't want to say the wrong thing. You want to be as accessible and welcoming as possible. But, if you haven't had any background knowledge in it, what do I say when I'm interacting with this person? Do I offer a different type of service? How do I phrase this? So that's a really great training to go through. Even someone like myself who has, background knowledge in it, it's a really great refresher to go through, and I think gives you a lot more confidence with interacting with the wide variety of students and customers we have on campus. And I think it's a really great resource for everybody. Taking a look at the next slide here. So SUNY's provided this resource, at least right now through August. So we have, 5 months of access to this training still this year. They may renew it for another year or two, but they do want to see usage in the system. So the more we use it, the more they're going to, renew this training. Hopefully they will renew it for the next 2022-2023 academic year. But it's great that it's coinciding now with our conversion to Brightspace D2L. So for faculty, it's a great thing to do now and go through, especially like the Word document accessibility, PDF accessibility, like HTML, what you should be doing in your online courses. And I know Donna has a lot of training, and there's the online learning resources there, but it's another great resource just to use. You can even just stop in and look at it and, oh, I need to convert this document over what are those features I should have on it. So build your accessibility now while you're having to convert stuff over, and then you don't have to do things twice. The more you can put accessibility into your course, the less you're going to have to possibly make edits or changes to it if you have a student who has a different need, that enrolls in your course. And accessibility isn't just for one particular person. A lot of different features such as closed captioning or having things in multiple different formats helps everyone. So it's a great thing to just build into your course, and it makes it a lot more inviting and accessible for any student who's going to be stopping in to learn from you. All right. So the thing with Deque University is I'm going to be going in and giving everyone access. I wanted to do this training first so everybody had background knowledge of what this system is, what this training is, before I automatically put everybody in, because once I add you as a user in the system, you're going to get an email, and some people have thought it's spam or something like that. So I just want to make sure you know what the resource is, and I'm going to send a notice out to the whole campus that you should be receiving an email today, and I wanted to provide this training and a link to the PowerPoints from today to everybody before I put you in the system. But once you get that email from Deque University, it'll have your login and an ability for you to reset your password. So you can reset that in here. And then once you have a login created, this is going to be what it looks like. There's going to be the main page, which is dequeuniversity.com. So DEQUE university.com. You'll click the login button on the main page, and then you'll put in your username, which will be your NCCC, the full email. And then you'll click next and put your password in, and you're right there. There's going to be a button that says my courses, and you can go through and take a look at those courses. I'm going to change the screen I am sharing on because I want to show you what Deque University looks like. So here we go. All right. And so I'm going to log in with my username, click next, and I'm going to put in my password. And I probably put the wrong password in. Let's see. We're golden. Okay. And so the second you log in, you'll have Deque University My Courses. And for Deque University, and can everybody see this? Just want to make sure. I think Jolie, I can see your face. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So as you go through and do the different trainings, as you see the ones I have in here completed, for example, accessibility fundamentals, disability guidelines and laws, which is a great one for honestly anyone to go through and peruse. It'll track your status as you're getting them done. Down here, I've got 20%, 1%. It marks as you get them done. And once you have them done, you actually get a certificate at the end, which is really great as well. I'm going to click on the accessibility fundamentals to just show you what it looks like. And for here, it's going to list on the left-hand side all the main parts of the training, and you can expand as well to see all the different options. So for this one, it's really helpful. It goes through main laws, ADA things, and then considerations for all different types of disabilities. So you may even come across different disabilities you didn't even realize, how that person may need to be adjusted for a course, or how they use different pieces of technology, and why having, things on the web or things in your course or different documents we produce maybe in student services in the library, why do we need to have them in a certain format? And it's to provide access for all these different types of disabilities and adjustments someone may need. So they're very helpful. I'm going to click on one for example here, so you can see a different section. So a lot of the times it's going to go through and give you real life scenarios of people, which makes it a lot easier to connect with and understand, why are we doing this? Why are we needing to build accessibility in? It explains different types of software. So there, on occasion, there will be videos in here where you can actually see what it looks like or hear what it looks like. All the videos should have features like closed captioning or transcripts in there as well, if you do like those features or need to use those. And then down below, they have design considerations. So they'll list, you know, why do you do these certain features, and give you reasonings behind, which I think for a lot of people, it's helpful to know why you're doing something, because it clicks a little bit more and gives more meaning behind it. And then you would just click next to go to the next page. So you can stop in and do one page a day if you wanted to, or, you know, you can go through and zoom through one, you know, if you have really good background knowledge of something. And then at the end, there's just a summary and a quiz. They're usually about 10 questions, 5 to 10 questions, and then you're completed with a certificate. Even someone like myself who has good background knowledge of it, like I said, they're really great reviews as well, and a nice way to just stay up to date on those trainings. Now I'm going to go back to the main list here for the courses. So there's, as you can see, a lot of different courses. They're broken down. Some of the courses appear in multiple sections. So there are certain sections just on like mobile apps or customer service or web accessibility. So depending on your background or what your, you know, how you would deal with people, like do you see people in person, or are you mostly a person at your desk working on software programming or on the website? They have different sections kind of broken up depending on what your workload is. I'm going to share back on my PowerPoint real quick though. Let's see here. Now that you've seen how to log in, I'm going to share with you all in the chat. Let's see. This is the Google Doc that has the PowerPoint that I'm on, because I'm going to show you in the next step after this. I have it broken down by everybody's roles, what recommended courses are to go through. Because as you can see, there's a bunch in Deque, but you might only need to do like are recommended really to do 2 or 3. So at the beginning of each course too, I want to show you, it lists what the primary audience is, how technical it is, and what the estimate of how long it takes to go through the whole course. Like I've said, you know, I'm not the speediest reader, but I can go through the course, and I've noticed I've beat that duration that they're listing. But it's completely up to you on that, you know, how long it takes you. Like I said, you can stop in at any point in time, which is nice about that course. But I have it listed here. So for example, recommended trainings for clerical support staff on campus would be these 5 trainings. A lot of them are just customer service, disability etiquette, and main communications and disability in the law. So those are all listed there. I've gone through and done the whole section. You get all your certificates and a whole curriculum certificate as well. I think it's really helpful too, just to empower you and give you the language. You know, you're a lot of times the face of every single office on campus. So it's really nice to give you the tools to interact with as many people as possible in a really comfortable setting for yourself, because you know with confidence that you are using the language that's recommended and you are treating that person with the due diligence you should for accessibility for them and providing a great welcoming environment for them. I have listed here too, one specifically for advisors. I'm not going to go through every single one for every single role because I'm going to share out, like I said, the PowerPoint to you so you can look at each list for what trainings are recommended for whatever your role is. But I have a list here specifically for advisors. There's a list for instructional faculty. So if you're actually teaching a course, there's a list for our executive leadership, really that a lot of it is overseeing programs and more so just the law, really what you would need to see. Staff who may be editing the website, creating documents, things that are more out there and technical. So those would be listed there. And then mostly like our student services, TAs, things like that, our TAs, faculty members, and admin. There's communication in here as well, but also a little bit of technical with the, accessible for Word, accessible for PDF, things like that. So it's kind of a mix depending on your role. One for health and wellness, and also a recommended list for human resources as well in there. Now, when it comes to Deque, once you have access, if you have any technical issues or have any questions about the training, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to stop down to anyone's office or do a Zoom meeting with you to go through stuff if you're not sure. You could go through the whole training if you wanted to do, and then do every single one. The whole curriculum is available to you, but I wanted to go through and give you a little bite of what the recommended trainings would be for each role. And then let me just go back through to the beginning real quick of the presentation. What I wanted to touch on is the rest of the week, we're going to be also doing some hands-on trainings, little bites of accessibility, whether it's the website, your course content, just creating content for in general, any service area you work in, accessibility for the library. And then I'm going to be doing one on Friday for what a VPAT is. I know a lot of people might not know what it is, but when you're ordering things for the college, especially like software, why should you be requesting this VPAT and what is this? So the rest of our trainings for this week are just going to be 20 minutes to a half hour long, just little bites, and open up that world of accessibility to you. Because it's not just in the classroom. Every single person on campus should be aware of what accessibility is and what services we should be providing. And it should be something that's kind of ingrained in every day. So it's something we need to build on and build into our culture as much as possible. And that's what Deque is providing you with a training resource that you can go in, look at what's applicable to you, and gain extra knowledge so you can, just grow as an employee as much as possible. So I'm going to pause here though, see if anyone has any questions about the Deque University trainings. Guessing we might not have any, I'm not sure.
Oh, Caitlin, it sounds great.
Good.
Yeah, something to do over the summer though, obviously.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to push it now, because there's that conversion with Deque, with not Deque, with Brightspace and D2L. It's something that you're probably downloading and transferring over your documents for your courses as well. And a lot of faculty may be making updates or changes as they do it. So it's a great time to just do a couple extra little things to build in accessibility, and the whole campus can be more accessible, at least in the educational sphere,
Oh, definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have any other questions?
No, I'm just looking forward to taking a look at the courses and see what's different, because you never stop learning. I mean, we had gone through training back in 2014 and several things have changed that we had to make more updates. So it's not an education that's going to end. You got to keep up with the time. So
yeah, and it's not just education, with WCAG, which is, if as everybody goes through and does the training, that's pretty much for on the web or any type of electronic stuff you put out there, what the accessibility features are. The one Ryan's going to do tomorrow, we'll touch on that. But it's things such as colors and font and all of that, which have been part of accessibility. And I know you've been pushing, Donna, but there's now these extra things that are layers that are coming up, and just seeing even lawsuits that can come up if we're not as accessible on our website as possible. So it's interesting, the different levels. So we want to be on top of it. One is if anyone checks out Instagram, you may have certain things like stories, or even on your Facebook, where people put what's called audio descriptions, and you might actually see them even on Netflix. So it's not just closed captionings, it's actually descriptions of what's happening on the screen. So if you can't see the screen, if you have any type of sight impairment, where you're blind, you can actually hear a description of what is visually occurring on the screen. So it's kind of like closed captioning for someone who needs assistance with sight. So that's something that's starting to be promoted, not just closed captioning. So it's interesting to see what, as our technology expands or as people think about accessibility, what different features can be built in, which is cool. At least I think it's cool. But thank you all for attending. I'm going to stop the recording now.